to Greg in the Morning Buzz.
Welcome to the Buzz, ladies and gentlemen. Been a fan of this guy for a long time. And anytime we say his name, inevitably, I play the music in the background, and you know who it is. And I think the last time he joined us, we were talking about his band. And he is David Duchovny, ladies and gentlemen, who joins us on the phone, who's going to be in Boston tonight, 4 o'clock. He's going to be at the Cambridge at the Brattle Theater with the Harvard Bookstore signing copies of his brand new book, Miss Subways. Hey, David.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
I know that you've got. I'm assuming that you're on the East Coast as we speak, right? You're not flying in later today or anything. I'm assuming you're here.
No, I'm in the car heading up to Boston right now.
Oh, nice. Okay,
heading your way.
All right, great. The book Miss Subways, which is now out, and I've read. I want to talk about the book first because obviously you're doing the autograph signing and stuff. But this is really. I read a bunch of reviews, David, and people are really digging this book. And I know you don't write it for those reasons, obviously. But you got to feel good that people are digging it, I think.
I do. Generally I tell myself not to read reviews, even the good ones, because if you read the good ones, you got to read the bad ones.
Right.
But for some reason, I just feel a little more calm about this one. I don't know. I just felt like I executed what I wanted to do, and that it was worthwhile. So I'm happy to see that people seem to be receiving it in the spirit in which it was intended, that's the satisfying part. Now I just hope that readers will enjoy it.
And it's kind of like a love story with one of the characters in the book, the woman in the book, being given a choice that nobody would want to have to make, right? And does the whole thing play out through New York City?
It has an Ireland connection.
Kelly Brown, our news guy, David, huge into all things Irish, and this book, he would love it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's happened in the underpinning idea, of the book is that as all these waves of immigrants have come to the States from Europe, from wherever they're coming from, they've brought their local customs and their local gods. But as time has gone on, most cultures have assimilated into what is an American culture. The melting pot, whatever we want to call it. And the idea in this book is that yes, that much is true, but what happened to those old gods? What happened to those old legends? And my idea is that they're here. They've been abandoned for sure, but they're kind of pissed off and bored now that they've lost their followers and their people. So there's a couple. There's an Irish one. There's an African one in this book that are kind of trickster gods, and they're effing with our heroine.
Yeah. And there's a short guy in there that's a bit of a wise ass named Sid, right?
Yes. He's one of the Beyond Seed, which is an Irish fairy demon, omen of death kind of character from Irish mythology. So a friend might like.
So you write this book, so there's got to be research involved, right? I mean, you either were into it before and knew about stuff, or did you go in and actually research in order to get some of this stuff in line with mythology, the history of mythology and stuff?
Well, both. I knew about the myth of Cuchulainn, the king, the Irish king, and his wife, Emer, who's the hero of my book, Emer is. And I knew about this W.B. Yeats play where he imagined this wager that you referenced earlier in the conversation that the Bien Seed, this demon, has come to Emer and said basically, your man's going to die, Cuchulainn's going to die, unless you renounce your wish to remain with him, basically, to remain his wife.
Right.
And so she's faced with the choice of renouncing her love or letting her man die, and she makes the choice to let him live.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, it's interesting to me because all the times that we've had you on, acting, you've written books before, the Bucky Blank and Dent book, and this one as well, and recording. There seems like there's no part of. Is there any part of your creative inside that you haven't scratched yet? Any creative itch that you haven't scratched yet?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've always been a writer. That's what I did or thought of myself as before acting. The music is quite new, but I don't think. I don't really have anything else that I'm decent at that I would try to express myself through. I can't believe you up in Boston can't say you have to say Bucky Blanket. That must be killing you.
Well, if you remember correctly, last time you were on the air with us, you actually said the whole thing. I did. I remember that. Those are the moments I remember. David Duchovny on the phone with us. He's going to be at the Brattle Theater at Harvard Bookstore 4:00 this afternoon, signing copies of his new book, Miss Subway, Roadkill.
David, huge fan. Loved this last season of the X-Files. Will there be another season of the X-Files? Because I know somebody said they might not come back.
You never know. I've learned to stop predicting what's going to happen with that show. It's a zombie of a show. Who knows? It could come back. It could walk the earth. It could be laid to rest. I can't tell the future. I don't know. I can tell you there's nothing. We're not talking about it right now. So but I don't know.
Is it weird today with the media, David, that I'm sure there have been things that you found out about in the media without someone actually contacting you? I mean, is that weird to find things out about that, about things you're involved in that you find out first with the media instead of someone calling you and picking up on the phone or whatever?
Well, I mean, they're usually funny because they're usually stuff that isn't really true.
Right.
Like I've been, congratulated, on doing the Hulk in the next Avenger movie, stuff like that.
Okay. All right, I got you.
So you are playing the Hulk or no?
We're going to run with that. We're going to run with that. Kelly Brown has a question for David Duchovny.
David, I didn't know about what is behind the book Bucky effing Dent. Obviously, it's got special significance to Sox fans from 1978, but what was behind that book?
Yeah. And I'm actually hopefully going to be making the movie of that book in August. So you'll be able to see it that way. But it's a father-son story. The father is dying of cancer, and he's this die-hard Boston fan, and the son is actually slings peanuts at Yankee Stadium and is a Yankee fan. And he realizes at some point that his father's health seems to ride on whether the Sox win or lose, so he starts faking the outcomes as the Sox start tanking in that season.
Yeah.
And it's really a story about a father and a son getting to know one another after a long estrangement, and also of the son falling in love with his father's nurse's aide, actually, as well.
Mm-hmm. David Duchovny on the phone with us. Again, the book is called Miss Subways, and he'll be signing down at the Brattle Theater with Harvard Bookstore. One last question for you. With the projects that you've done, whether it was, the Californication or X-Files or any of the movies or books or music that you've done, fans come to you, and sometimes they make things as to give you as a gift. Has there been anything that a fan has made you, David, that left you really scratching your head? Like, what do I do with this?
Oh, well, if I'm scratching my head and I don't know what to do with it, I know what to do with
it. Okay. But the question remains, was there anything that was really out there that you're like, wow, this is out there?
Yeah, I'm sure, but it's just, to be honest with you, it's just so sweet that people take the time to do something, especially if it's odd like that I'm not remembering, but I'm sure it's happening. And you just go, oh my, you just kind of are moved by the fact that
they do it.
Oh, they really put some thinking into this. I mean, it's not any kind of thinking that I would have done, but it's like, wow, that's
right.
That's kind of beautiful in a very odd way.
Yeah. Well, a longtime fan, all of us are. So thanks for taking the time to come with us. Good luck today down in Cambridge. Have some fun with the book. The book is The Subways. It's out now, and David will sign it for you at the Brattle Theater, Harvard Bookstore, 4:00 this afternoon.
I will.
All right, David. Good to talk to you, man. Thanks for coming on with us again, buddy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's done
everything.
everything.
He's made some far out stuff.
Oh yeah.
People have brought some far out stuff. Kelly, this book has an Irish fairy who knocks on this woman's door and says, you love your husband, he's someplace, he's going to die. Unless you give him up, you can never see him again.
Unless you give him up.
Well, you got to give up your love, you got to renounce your love, and this little fairy is a wise ass. It's kind of crazy. And the book is really out there, but the reviews are great because he ties it all together in a weird way. There's nothing this guy can't do. Duchovny. You kidding me? Crazy. All right, 9:38. I'm such a fan, man. Friday nights used to be, that was it. Friday night is when the X-Files was on Fox, and I did not feel bad if I stayed in on a Friday night back then when it was on, because that creepy episode with those people living under that bed, that episode will scar you
forever. You'll never look under somebody's bed again.
Will scar you.
Or
and
look
there
at
were
your mother the
so
same.
many good ones.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to, girls, we'd get together in high school and watch it on Friday nights.
Yeah. All right. 9:39. We're going to get in the home stretch. You get to run in. It's your you get to run into the record room. It's Final Vinyl coming up, and a couple of last minute additions.